Nobody expected Apple's cheapest MacBook to create a supply crisis this fast. The MacBook Neo is selling so hard that the chip stash powering it may dry up early, and that could force the MacBook Neo 2 out the door sooner than planned. Here's what the report says and what changes actually matter. Stock issues are the first clue that something unusual is happening. Walk into the Apple Store, trying to buy the entry laptop in a specific color, and you might get a wait time measured in weeks. That's not normal for a brand new, budget-focused machine, especially not one that launched barely a month ago. And that's exactly why the Bloomberg report matters. The claim isn't just a new model is coming. The claim is that the incredible demand has created a real production problem. The company may run short on the exact chips it's been using to keep the price low. When you build a hit product around a limited supply component, you either slow sales, raise the price, or move to a new part. Apple tends to choose the option that keeps the assembly lines moving. So, why is this device so cheap in the first place? The $599 starting price in the US already undercuts the usual entry point, and the student deal pushes it even lower. That pricing isn't magic. It's a set of deliberate compromises plus a very specific silicon strategy. Start with the trade-offs you can see and feel. There's no backlit keyboard, so typing in a dim room isn't as friendly. There's no Force Touch trackpad, meaning you lose that consistent click feel across the whole surface. The screen is still a Retina panel, but it's not loaded with premium features like mini LED or a wide color gamut. In short, it hits the basics well, but it doesn't try to compete feature for feature with the MacBook Air. Now for the part most people miss, the chip choice. The current model uses a foam-class processor that Apple already knows how to manufacture at scale. More importantly, it's believed to be built from surplus inventory that was originally meant for a Pro iPhone run. That's how you get a laptop that feels snappy for everyday work while still being priced like a true entry-level product. But that clever plan only works if you've actually got enough chips sitting around. According to the report, the current unit relies on A18 Pro parts. Those were tied to the iPhone 16 Pro generation, and the idea was simple. Use the leftovers, reduce waste, keep costs down, and sell a ton of affordable laptops without building an entirely new supply chain. Then the Neo became a breakout hit. Suddenly, that comfortable surplus doesn't look so comfortable. If demand keeps chewing through that inventory, Apple faces a choice. It can restart A18 Pro production, which is expensive and messy for a part that was never meant to be a long-term laptop workhorse. Or it can pivot to another available chip that fits the same cost-saving philosophy. That pivot is the headline. MacBook Neo 2 could arrive earlier because Apple can't keep making the original one at the same rate without running into a chip wall. Here's the most interesting detail. The proposed replacement part is the A19 Pro, a chip intended for the iPhone 17 Pro line. The strategy is basically a swap. Instead of trying to revive an older production plan, Apple can repurpose unused A19 Pro inventory and keep the budget laptop line alive. If that's accurate, it also explains why we're even talking about a second-generation model so soon. A refresh isn't always about pushing new features. Sometimes it's about keeping the manufacturing puzzle solvable while demand is hot. So, what would change if the new laptop moves to A19 Pro Silicon? Performance is the obvious headline, but we should talk about it the way normal people actually feel it. First, CPU improvements. The expectations floating around are roughly a 10% bump in single-core speed and around a 15% jump in multi-core. In real life, that's not about bragging rights. That's faster app launches, smoother browsing with lots of tabs, and less waiting when you're exporting a bunch of photos or compressing files. It also means the machine stays responsive longer as your workload grows over the years. Second, DPU gains. The numbers being discussed are bigger here, with a projected 33% improvement and Geekbench Metal scores pushing past 40,000. Even if you never run a benchmark, you'll feel this in visuals. Scrubbing through video timelines becomes less choppy. Casual games run at higher settings. Motion graphics previews don't stutter as easily. For a low-cost Mac, stronger graphics is one of the most noticeable quality-of-life upgrades. Third, the AI accelerators. The A19 Pro is expected to be dramatically better in machine learning workloads, with talk of up to 3 times faster performance for certain tasks. That doesn't mean everyone suddenly becomes an AI developer. It means the apps you already use can do more on-device faster. Think smarter photo tools, better voice features, quicker content analysis, and smoother assistance built into creative and productivity software. Now let's talk memory. because this is where an entry-level laptop can either feel surprisingly capable or frustratingly tight. The base RAM is expected to rise from 8 gigs to 12 gigs. That's a meaningful jump. 8 gigs can be fine for light use, but it starts to pinch when you're multitasking hard. A browser with too many tabs, a video call, a document editor, and a few background apps all at once. With 12 gigs, the system has more breathing room, and you'll hit slowdowns less often. It also reduces how frequently the computer has to lean on swap memory, which can affect speed over time. Storage speed is the other half of that story. Reports point to SSD performance potentially doubling. Again, that's not a spec sheet flex. Faster storage makes the entire system feel quicker. Boot times, app loading, file transfers, and especially that moment when the system runs out of RAM and needs to juggle data. A faster drive makes that juggling less painful. So, if Apple's forced into an earlier Neo 2 timeline, you might actually get a more usable base model as a side effect. That's the twist. Supply constraints could accidentally produce a better entry-level experience. Battery life is next, and this part matters to almost everyone. A more efficient chip can squeeze more time out of the same battery. The expectation is up to an extra hour, and even if real-world results vary, the direction is clear. The silicon is designed to do more work per watt. That's especially important for a thinner, lighter machine that people buy for classes, commutes, and travel. Charging could also get a boost. The talk is that Apple may raise charging speed to 40 watt. If you've used a laptop that charges slowly, you know how annoying it is to plug in for 20 minutes and barely gain anything. Faster charging changes the rhythm of daily use. It turns short top-ups into something that actually helps, instead of a pointless habit. Now, let's pull back and answer the big question: does an early release make sense? If the goal is to keep the price low, Apple needs a low-cost chip strategy. If A18 Pro supply is tightening because the Neo sold better than expected, then moving to A19 Pro leftovers keeps the approach intact. Use what already exists, avoid launching a brand new low-margin silicon program, and keep shipping units without hiking the price. And there's a marketing advantage too. An early refresh lets Apple keep the story alive. The current model gets people into the ecosystem. A follow-up with better speed, more memory, faster storage, and better efficiency keeps the momentum going, especially if the first wave of buyers starts recommending it to friends and family. But there's also a practical buyer question: should you wait? If you need a laptop right now, the current Neo is already a solid value because it's built for the basics and it's priced like the basics. For students, that discount is hard to ignore. And if the model you want is in stock, grabbing it now could save you from months of waiting and guessing. If you can wait, the potential upgrades are the kind that improve daily use, not just numbers. More RAM and faster storage are the upgrades you feel every single day, and a more capable GPU can extend how long the machine stays good enough before you feel the urge to upgrade. The best way to think about it is this: the original Neo proved that Apple can build a truly affordable Mac by mixing smart compromises with strategic parts sourcing. The Neo 2, if it lands early, looks like the same philosophy, but with a stronger foundation underneath. So keep your eyes on two signals. 1. Continued stock shortages and long delivery windows, because that suggests production is constrained. 2. Credible reports about the chip supply pivot, because that's the engine that would drive an accelerated refresh. If Apple's chip inventory is the real bottleneck, an early second-gen release isn't just possible. It's the most efficient way to keep the budget Mac in stores, keep the price attractive, and keep the momentum going. The MacBook Neo's huge demand may be forcing Apple to move faster than planned. If the A18 Pro supply is running out, shifting to A19 Pro parts could keep production steady while improving performance, memory, storage speed, and battery efficiency. The big takeaway is simple: the faster timeline is about supply, and the upgrades are the bonus. Drop a comment with one thing you'd want fixed first: the RAM, the storage, the charging speed, or the keyboard features. If you found this breakdown helpful, subscribe for more straight, fast Apple news without the fluff. So, that's all we know for now. We'll be sure to keep you updated as soon as we have more information. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.